Let's talk about X, baby. Let's talk about she and he. Let's talk about all the good and bad things on fertility. Let's talk about X. Let's talk about X.
Welcome to the How Would You Like Your Ex podcast. I'm your host, Dawn Chan, and also the founder of So Fertility. In each of our episodes, we invite women to come speak about their fertility stories and also professionals who support them along the way. Today, we have invited our guest, Karin, here.
Hello.
Who is a mother of two, conceived through IVF.
Yes.
She also has a very interesting experience where she navigated both the private sector healthcare, but also leveraged the public sector treatments as well.
Yes.
So we're going to dive much more into that and talk about how people in Hong Kong potentially can also leverage that as an option.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So besides that, she's now a fitness coach at Limitless.
Correct.
So Limitless is a health performance hub here in Hong Kong that focuses on both functional health and fitness training.
Yeah.
So we can talk a little bit more about why you became a fitness coach as well later on.
Of course. Yes.
To start, why don't we start with how you're trying to conceive journey was like, and at what point did you realize that you needed some help?
That's a long story.
Yeah. I've got all hours or years here.
Fantastic. So my husband and I got married in 2013. And my husband and I are 12 years apart. So I knew we got to get cracking away. So we tried on and off for about almost a year and we were unsuccessful. And my husband didn't want to have a medical checkup beforehand. And so I said, after a year, perhaps it's time that we do it. And I finally convinced him to.
How was that communication like? Because it's a very typical thing for men to assume I should be fine, especially when we mostly, I think, a lot of times assume that men are more invincible with their fertility through age, right? So I'm sure the conversation had to be a bit more delicate, a little bit more easing into it. So how did you, any tips on how you did that?
A lot of tears. It was a soft conversation in the beginning.
Yeah.
On the sofa while watching TV. And it usually gets ignored.
Yeah.
And then eventually a few tears have to be shed and say, we need to do this for us, for our future. And then finally he relented.
Yeah.
And so we went. And that's when we realized that both of us had issues. And basically the doctor said, well, you put the two of you together, it'll never happen. So
how did that feel when you first heard it in the clinic room?
It was an eye-opener. Yeah.
Was it partly a relief too, in a way of knowing, okay, so the year of effort didn't work because we needed some scientific help?
Yes, it was a relief because we just thought, like, why? And it took away romance. It took away, like, why are we doing this? It's a chore. Like counting days in the calendar. We had a friend who said to us, just do it every other day. It should happen. And I'm like, no, I'm tired.
Yeah. Every other day it's intense.
Exactly. And it just became awful. So after we got that kind of answer, we're like, okay, we know what the next step is. And so the doctor said to us, like, look, I was quite young. I was like 28, 29, 30. And he said, why don't you try, was it Clomid? It was just the pills, the 5-day pills first. And then from there, we go for IUI. And then if that doesn't still work, then we can go for IVF. So we tried. We took the first 2 steps and that didn't work.
How many times of intrauterine insemination, IUI, did you go through?
I think we must have done 2 or 3
2 or
times.
3, okay.
And I think by the 3rd time, my oncologist she's okay.
This is not working.
It's not working. But I remember specifically sitting in her office. It was just me and her. And I broke down. Yeah. The 3rd time when she said, no, it's not happening, I just felt less than a woman. I'm like, this thing, I've always been one of those who if I want it, I get it. I'm not a high achiever, but if I set my heart to do something, I will get it somehow, somewhere. And I was just so frustrated. I'm like, one thing that I
wanted at that point,
wanted and that I'm supposed to do, I cannot do. I don't know about you when you were young.
Yeah.
But when we're young and single, the worst thing we thought of as,
So
oh my
get
God, I'm going to
pregnant.
get pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do everything to like, oh, I'm not going to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And then now you're trying so hard and you just can't
Can't
get
get
to
pregnant.
it. And I just broke down in front of her. And I think that was the only time she showed me a little bit of emotion. She handed me a tissue
No.
and she said, it's not that bad.
Oh.
Yeah, I've had clients who are worse. And then she says that she had a client whose sole job is to have a son
Oh, wow.
because she comes from a legacy family. And my client's done it over 10 times of IVF.
Oh, wow.
And she still hasn't got a son.
Wow.
And all her husband does is say, I got money. You keep going.
Oh, wow. That's another crazy story I want to interview.
Yeah, I know. But I never knew who she was. So she said, it's not that bad for you.
How does that comparison feel like, though?
I don't know. It gave me some kind of comfort, but not really. But at least I felt, at least I'm not the only one who can't have a kid. So then afterwards, she pointed me to the women's clinic.
Okay.
And that's where I met Dr. Alice Wong. And she was great. Yeah. So we went to see her and she walked us through it all. And
On the procedures for IVF.
oh,
So
yes.
basically, after IUI, now you're considering IVF.
Yeah. So initially, both my husband are like, oh, should we do it? Because that's another step. And it's a huge step in terms of finance, effort, but it's in our control. I'm like, if we go through it, chances are we will have a kid. And so we thought about it. We're like, yeah, it's worth it. We got it. We can do it financially. So why not?
Was there before the treatment a bit more counseling on the probability, but also if it works out, not work out for the first maybe 1 or 2 cycles, did you have an expectation given your budget, how many times you're going to go through with it?
Oh, no. That high
You
achievement
went,
mindset went in.
you just went in straight in. Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to get it first time. But I think after seeing Dr. Wong, she gave us a little bit of hope. So she did tell us that the ratios, the percentages of success rates, it's not high. I don't remember it now, but it wasn't high. And she did say, because I'm young,
At the time, early 30s at this point.
yeah, early 30s, she said, it should still be okay.
Yeah.
So we said, let's bite the bullet and do it. And then the nurses there were really great. So we went through a bit of the counseling with them as well before we took on the journey. But yeah.
And at what point did you feel like in the process, were you playing a bigger role, or and what point was your husband, you think, filling in the role that you need him to be as part of this IVF journey together as a couple?
Getting the sperm was pretty important.
Yeah, I like to say we still cannot do single cell reproduction yet. So
No,
not
no.
yet. So
No.
we still need the XY chromosomes.
Exactly. You need to put two to tango. No, but he was so supportive throughout the whole time. Like he was so good. He came to every appointments with me, whether it was with the nurse or with the doctor. And also like when we actually had to do the fertilization and then insertion, he was there with me too. Yeah, it was really good. Cannot complain.
Yeah. And so when you're going out, so let's say you did the hormonal stimulation and then going to egg retrieval and then putting the egg and sperm together and now selecting an embryo for embryo transfer, all the way through the process, did you, in the voice inside of you, what were you thinking? Were you bracing for a disappointment potentially? Were you very headstrong, be like, conviction, I know this should be okay? What was it like for you?
I was pretty strong with my conviction. I knew it's going to happen. I knew it's going to work. I think the only time I slightly faltered was around the end of first trimester. So for both girls, near the same time, I had a huge bleed out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The first one was like in the middle of the night in bed. And then the second time with my second child was on the sofa. Just like I would stand up and,
Oh,
yeah. And both times we went to the A&E, and both times it happened to have there was some blood clot. And it turns out it's very common. But at the time, because your embryo is much smaller than the blood clot, then it was a little bit more like touch and go. And I needed to be like bedridden or at least slow the things down until the embryo the baby gets bigger. And it's much bigger than the blood clot. And then the clot would just go by itself.
Oh, okay.
And both times, Dr. Wong was really good because usually with the women's clinic, they only look after you for the first trimester. And once you're done, you go back to your
Your
OBGYN.
OBGYN.
And because both times happened near the end of first trimester when we're supposed to say bye-bye, I'll keep coming back for the next couple of weeks. So she gave me more injections just to make sure I was okay, more follow-ups, and then I was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing to highlight here is even if you quote unquote graduated from the IVF treatment and you got pregnant, there's still the first trimester where hopefully your reproductive medicine specialist or your fertility specialist is there to support you because there
yes.
could still be complications,
Oh,
right?
yes.
And this was a statistics when I found out, I was pretty surprised, but apparently 1 in 5 women have serious complications in their pregnancy. So it's
Oh,
much more common than I thought. And so when you mention blood clot, it is more frequent than we think it is. Sometimes I think what we hear is also people after they got a positive pregnancy test from their fertility treatment, their heart is still not ready to completely embrace happiness necessarily because there's still different things that can happen along your pregnancy journey, right?
yeah.
Navigating that and finding the support in your partner, finding the support in your doctor that works with you on it. It's so important.
Super important. I can't say that the first trimester for both girls was fun. It definitely wasn't. You're still jabbing yourself every day. I still feel like, so my girls are 2 years and 3 months apart. And during the first pregnancy, I would have bruises on both sides of my hips. But then I thought after 2 years and 3 months, those bruises would go away. It never did.
What?
It still felt tender when I was going through the second round of jabs for my second daughter.
Wow.
I was like, oh, I remember these spots.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you felt either it's like a reminder or somehow it still hasn't completely dissolved somehow.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
It feels, oh, I must have hit a nerve when I was jabbing myself and it's still there.
Or it's just muscle memory.
That's not a muscle memory I want to have. No. But it got to a point where there was so much bruising on the side that I had to go more to the back. Yeah, that's no fun.
That is no fun.
The one thing I would say is I didn't let my husband do the jabs.
Oh, that's interesting. Why was that the case? I definitely let my husband do the jabs for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm like, it's the part where the needle, like, I just need to push it through the skin part. I'm a little, I want to say skittish, but I just can't. Yeah, I think it's more of a psychological barrier. And if I have somebody around, I'd rather not look and just have someone do it for me. Yeah.
No.
Why did you decide to?
I need control.
Consistent.
I'm very consistent.
Yes. So giving that sense of control also gives you a sense of comfort, probably.
It did. It became a routine. Wake up in the morning, do my thing in the toilet, in the bathroom, and then the last thing I do is the jab. Yeah, and then I start my day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as you navigate through your first trimester and having these uncertainties, having these bleeding and all that, at what point did you feel like, hey, maybe it's a good idea to also think about the public sector healthcare system and how that could support me in my pregnancy journey?
So we knew from the beginning that I wasn't going to go through the private system for the OBGYN and all of the, I guess, extra appointments afterwards.
What was the consideration then?
Finance, really. I think we're making decent money, but the thing is, I just feel the public sector is actually not that bad in Hong Kong. We live in Apleichau, so our catchment is Queen Mary, and we hear good things about it in terms of medical, brushing aside bedside manners and all that. But in terms of any emergencies, even if you go through the private system, you end up in Queen Mary anyway.
Yeah.
So my husband and I said, why don't we spend the money to get pregnant and stay pregnant, but we know we'll be in good hands when the baby arrives.
Yeah. That's a very smart way to think about it. Not like everyone has like infinite resources. And so spending where your money's worth is actually very helpful and getting that alignment in your family unit to be
It's
like,
very
hey,
important.
like, where's the priority here? Where do we want to spend the funds? That is super important.
Yes, exactly. Like we saved up money to buy a flat, and we saved money for the kids' education. So we knew that there's going to be more bills to come if this is successful. So we said, okay, we don't want to put all our eggs in one
One
basket.
basket, yeah.
So yeah. And it's been great. So I think by the time we were about, I don't know, I think it was like 16 weeks or so, 14 weeks. That's when the Dr. Wong said, okay, it's time to enroll into the public system. And then that's what I did. And the nurses were great. They didn't say that, oh, you just go to the public system, and they just kind of leave me to it. They still gave me advice on what to do, like when do you start engaging with them? And if I had any other questions, they still are happy to talk to me about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So having that type of mixed care support is always very handy. So
yes.
even if parents or intended parents that didn't need to get through fertility treatment to get pregnant, at times they would also opt for selecting a private OBGYN at the same time registering with the public system and the public hospital, and getting their files open, and getting themselves registered. Because it can come especially handy when down the road, if you're facing any pregnancy complications, things like preeclampsia. A lot of times private hospitals are not going to take that specific case. They're going to roll you into the public hospital as well, where there's better support for the neonatal unit and ICU, etc., but also the support for the mom as well.
Oh, yeah.
So thinking about that early on, and at what point should you be talking to the public sector clinics or hospitals, it's helpful in the planning of the pregnancy journey.
For sure. With our first one, she didn't want to come out. So eventually she did stay, I think 1 or 2 nights in NICU. Yeah. So I was very pleased that we were at Queen Mary already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when your first daughter was delayed and then come out, what was that? Can you tell me a little bit more about that pregnancy, that birth experience?
I have to say, Queen Mary has the best delivery rooms.
Have you looked at others? How do you
No,
know?
I haven't. I'm sure. Okay, yeah, that's true. I can't compare, but it was pretty awesome because
You're very happy about it.
Oh yeah, because the view is amazing. It's so tranquil. Yeah, you just look out Parc Fulham, and you're like, wow, there's the sea and everything. So with her, she didn't want to come out. I was completely dilated. I think we were in there for more than 36 hours. But when she was ready her head was about to crown, she was trying to come out, and then she didn't want to come out. So eventually we had to get the vacuum out, and it was a mess. But because the water broke for more than 24 hours and she still wasn't out, that's why she had to go to NICU. And the nurses, the doctors there were so good. They would call me at the nighttime and say that, oh, do you want to go feed her? We'll wheel you up to wherever the ward is. And then I would try to pump or give her the colostrum. And then they'll take me back to my room, to my bed. And it was really good. Yeah, I can't complain. There were some funny stories that happened. Like they will wake you up, the night nurse at 3 a.m. and they would say, hey, Sana. I was like, what? Like, you got to go pee. I was like, but I don't want to pee. She's like, no, you got to go pee. I was like, okay.
So you're on a pee schedule.
I'm on a pee schedule. And she comes in with you.
To help you, just in case.
Just to watch that you can pee.
Oh, I see. It is an important milestone, though.
It is an important milestone.
Yeah.
But when you get woken up at 3 a.m. and you're like, what? And
have someone watch you pee.
Yeah. And then she's, Aya, Fatila. And I was like, I'm trying, but you're watching me. I'm a bit nervous.
Yes. Is it a physical obstacle? Is it more psychological?
Yeah.
Because you're looking at me? Yeah. I can So how was your recovery like? And I'm curious whether that has any influence to you becoming a fitness coach down the road.
Yes and no. Yeah. So with my first one, the recovery was a little slower. I think it was because I was on epidural. So I had no feet swelling during pregnancy. But my feet swelled up 2 weeks after I gave birth. And it was very odd. And my doctor was like, I think it might be just the drugs trying to get out. So I was like, oh, okay. I seriously couldn't even wear my flip-flops.
Wow.
And then I had an episiotomy because she didn't want to come out, and they had to vacuum her. So they had to snip me. And because of that, I guess I felt a bit too much pain down there, and I didn't clean myself properly.
Mm.
So I got thrush, and
Oh,
it just took a bit more time to heal, and I just felt everything a bit more.
Mm.
Whereas compared to the second one, she came out so quickly. Like I was in at 1:30. She came out maybe
wow.
3:34. And so I had no time to get any epidural. It was au natural. It was the worst thing ever. And even my husband said that I've never seen you so primal before.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Primal. That's a word.
primal is the word. I'm usually very nice. I'm very diplomatic.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever swore that much
Wow.
to strangers.
Wow.
And I felt bad.
Oh, no.
I felt bad
But I
afterwards.
think that now that you've done it, now that your husband's seen your primal side,
Mm.
he knows the scale as well. It's also, oh, this is what you're capable of. So and you've always been very nice to him, even
yeah.
in dark days. So you'd be like reminding him,
This is gonna happen.
this can happen if you draw out the primal side of me.
Of course. But yeah, so it was so different in terms of the delivery. But afterwards, I was up within like the evening. I was
Oh, wow.
walking, I was fine. I had no tears. They
Mm.
didn't have to snip me this time.
Mhm.
And I bounced up.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It was so much easier with the second one. Yeah.
So we talked at the birth, right? The birth, but then in terms of more like longer term postpartum, because I've heard, especially now you're a fitness coach, your muscles, your bones, your ligaments, your muscles like altered and transformed during your pregnancy. So coming now that at that point you're like 2 kids, I'm good, I'm done. What was that physical recovery to strength looks like for you?
So at that time, I wasn't a fitness coach. I just finished my corporate work. And at that time, I decided not to work from the moment she's born till she's 2 years old. I just wanted to snuggle and I just wanted to enjoy because I knew I wasn't going to have any
The
more
third,
kids.
yeah.
And so I really took the time to be with her and the older one. But I just started going to work out all the time. I've always been like a fitness junkie. I love being in the gym. I was never a sports girl. Don't give me a ball. I hate balls.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's very
But
interesting.
it's because I'm not coordinated. Like my hand-eye foot coordination is not very good. If you give me a tennis racket, I'm very good in getting the ball stuck in the middle.
Oh, wow. That's a skill.
I know. I can't hit it, but it will get stuck in the hole.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I've always liked going to the gym. I can do my own thing and it's fine. And at the time, I got into the whole F45, functional training, all that. And so I would go with friends and we would go once a day, sometimes twice a day. And it got me right back into like my base level.
Wow, okay.
And more. I was getting really lean. And then by the time my daughter was about 2 years old, 18 to 2 years old, that's when COVID hit.
Oh,
I was like, oh, great. Just when I wanted to get a job.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to happen. And so all of us were stuck in our flats and I became that crazy lady with the trolley. And I had all this equipment and I would roll it down to the podium every day and I do my own workout. And then my neighbors started seeing me doing it and they're like, hey, can we get a bit of action? Get in with you. And I was like, okay, I guess so. So I write up these like boot camp programs and then I'll set it up. you know. So that's how it started. And a few of my neighbors called it Kill Me Karin session. They're like, I've died and come back.
That's fine.
Yeah. So
That's a
how it
much
started.
needed community event during COVID time.
Oh, yeah. It was much needed. And then we had other neighbors who are watching. And where we live is really funny because you have the young, the expatty group, and then you have the local group who are a bit older. And that group is always looking at us and like calling the police on us all the time, saying that, oh, rowdy crowd. So they're socializing. They're not supposed to. So we had to do all sorts of things to like cleverly be seen as not in big groups. So because I was like doing boot camps with them, they're like, you should get trained up. Just do this. Why not? And then I'm like, okay, maybe I will. They're like, we're going to pay you. I was like, don't pay me until at least I get certified.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable. And so I eventually got certified. And then I'm like, maybe I'll try it out, see where it goes. I can't really find a job. I don't know what I'll do now, but so maybe this could be a thing. So I started as a part-time gig, making my own hours so that I could still be with the kids. And it started with the neighbors. Oh, so and so wants to have a private lesson or they do want to do group lessons. So I just do it from home. We had a clubhouse gym, or at the time we'll still go out to the podium and using my equipment. And then I had one neighbor who got into the franchise for F45. And he's, oh, do you want to come and help me and be one of the coaches? And I was like, oh, okay, then maybe I will. So I started with him doing some hours and then just everything snowballed. And yeah, that was like 5, 6 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so now with all that experience up to now, looking back, how would you talk to Karin after the first baby, Karin after the second baby, on how to leverage physical training to support your recovery from birth and throughout postpartum?
I think it would be more or less the same
Mm.
because I've always liked to be active. So even though I don't play sports, this whole like team player, I can be a team player in a corporate world, in a work setting, but sports setting, I'm like, I don't know how. But I've always liked to be active going to the gym or like going for runs or hikes, any individual stuff I would like to do. And even after giving birth for the first time, I went back to the gym like rather quickly. I just get really anxious. If I don't move day, I just am ratty.
But do you have tips for women who are not as active as you are typically, not as prone to being active? How would you give them any tips of, yeah, if they've went through childbirth in, let's say, last month, last 2 months, what would be your typical tips for them in trying to get some activity in?
I would say walks. Yeah, the best thing for you is go for a walk. And it's a great time to bond with your baby as well. Take your baby out for a walk. I loved it. Either if it's in a pram or if you're carrying your baby. I love carrying my babies. I prefer that over prams any day. I just find Hong Kong really hard with prams. We went down the stairs, the MTR station, they make you go for the lifts. I don't want to wait for the lift. But carrying them in the front, it's so convenient and it's an extra weight. So it's like, great. I can work on my squats. I can
Yeah,
work
it's
on, like,
almost like a little bit of strength training there as well,
Exactly.
right? It's
Yeah.
like training your core up when you carry in the front.
exactly. You don't need to buy those like weighted vests at Decathlon. Why not? This one grows with you. It gets heavier by the day. Yeah. So I'd say go for the walks as early as you can. And they don't have to be like long walks. Just go around the corner and come back. You can go for multiple times a day. Because actually sitting at home with the baby gets a bit boring as well. So just go out and just stretch the legs. And when they feel strong enough, then maybe they can think of something that's a bit more. And it really depends on what their interest is. Some people are just not interested in strength training. Then no matter how hard you get them into it, then they'd be like, no, I just can't commit. And equally, some other people can't do yoga. They're like, it's just too much. It's too long. It's too much isometric holds. I'm not loving this. So it really depends. And they have to cater to their own interests. But walks is the best thing because you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Get a bit of steps, and then play with your kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you then get into your current role now at Limitless? And maybe talk to us a little bit more about the ethos of the brand and how you support women in different fertility or maternity journeys.
Okay. So I met Trish through a friend of mine. This friend, her daughter and my daughter are besties. And then we became friends.
Ah.
And then she said, you remind me of someone. There's this woman you should meet. And I was like, okay. So I felt like I was going on a blind date. And I met up with Trish and she was amazing. And I thought I was going to just have a 45-minute, an hour tops coffee. And it turned out to be a 3-hour thing. She used to be in MMA. She's built multiple gyms. She now has her own gym. She's a functional health trainer. Yes, there's different aspects that I can get from her. And so when she said she wanted me on board, I was like, over the moon. So that's how it came to be.
Yeah. So what are your current focus areas as a fitness trainer? And what are you excited about?
Okay. So for me, I tend to work with women. Yeah. Prenatal, postnatal. I also like working with youth. I was working with some teenagers for a while and I really enjoyed that. Yeah. I do focus more on strength and conditioning. So that's where I focus on. What's the next thing? Yes.
What are you excited about?
What am I excited about? In terms of what I'm going to learn next or
As a fitness coach right now, what you're going to learn, what are you going to do, who you're going to help, what makes you excited?
I want to continue working with women. And I think being in Limitless really gives me that kind of exposure. Yeah. And we have all walks of life coming through. You have one who you have young, you have older, we have one who just given birth or going through their first pregnancy. We have ladies who are going through their perimenopausal or postmenopausal phase of life. I'm 42 now, and I'm feeling I'm slightly going towards the perimenopausal phase. I'm trying to navigate that too. So I would love to learn a bit more on how I can support myself as well as clients who are going through this journey as well. So yeah, it's like encompassing all of that. And I'm also looking at my girls. They're now almost 9 and then 6.5. Just a few years, they're going to be teenagers. And they're quite active. So I'm thinking, how can I upskill myself to make sure that when they hit a certain age, they are going to optimize, how can they optimize their potential and go through learning about strength and conditioning or maybe learning sports specific exercises? How can I support them? I want to know about these things as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, I was thinking maybe we can do some myth busting. Let's say
Okay.
around fitness and pregnancy, fitness and fertility, fitness and menopause. Because, for example, things like, I don't know, are there common myths that you hear pregnant women being worried about continuing their strength training or any activities past a certain time? Is there any myths that you think, oh, that's actually quite okay? Or anything along those lines?
A lot of women, when they're in their first trimester, they don't do anything, especially if they're going through IVF. And I was that too. I was like, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel like my belly is going to be so precious. And it is. But you shouldn't stop doing things. I feel that if you're not a runner, don't decide to become a runner. It's not the right time. But if you've always been a runner, then don't stop. Maybe you can slow things down. Maybe you go for less distance, but you don't need to stop. And equally, if you've always been training in the gym, you've always done strength training, maybe you don't need to stop.
Unless medically your doctor tells you otherwise.
Yes, exactly.
If not, you should
Unless
be
there's a
okay.
complication, then yes, definitely. But otherwise, I'm like, no, just carry on. You can do lighter loads.
Yeah.
You can just do lighter loads and more reps. But I wouldn't say stop completely during that time. What else would I say?
That's good. That's a good
Maybe
one.
equally into your third trimester, it depends on how you feel. A lot of ladies would be like, when do I stop? There is no like time frame. It's like, oh, you hit 36 weeks, then you stop. It depends on how you feel. Have you been active throughout the entire pregnancy? If you have, then why are you doing an abrupt stop just before you go into your labor? Because like by 36 weeks, your baby is fully formed. It's just getting fat. It's just trying to fill up. And so at that point, you will be tired because you're bigger. But if you feel okay that day, then you go and do the activity that you've always wanted to do. But again, just see how you feel. Go lighter, go less distance. You don't have to stop. Yeah, that's what I would say.
That's really helpful. It's been an amazing conversation with you, Karin.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you like our episode, remember to like and subscribe our channel. See you next time. Bye. Thank you for tuning in today. Subscribe to our channel wherever you are so you will never miss our episodes when they drop. Be sure to share our podcast with your friends so that we can break the taboo on fertility together. Don't forget to follow us on our social media channels to stay up to date on the latest moves of Soul Fertility and get tips in navigating your fertility journey. I am Dawn Chan, and we will see you next time at How Would You Like Your Eggs podcast.